You ever find yourself scrolling online, maybe late at night, and you stumble across, well, just really unsettling stuff?
Oh, definitely.
Not like, movie horror, but those real stories people share, the ones that kind of stick with you.
Yeah, the ones that feel a bit too real. That's pretty much what we're diving into today, right?
Exactly. We're looking
Yeah.
at this collection of first-hand accounts from a Reddit thread, an Ask Reddit thread.
Right, where the question was basically, what's your most disturbing, scary, or creepy real story? Simple question.
But the answers,
Right.
wow, they're all over the place. Some are like genuinely weird, inexplicable things.
And others are more about unsettling encounters with other people or finding something truly awful. It's a real mix.
Yeah, definitely a mix. We've got stories from like out in the woods, creepy stuff happening at home, scary run-ins, things that clearly, shook the people who lived them.
And our goal here, I think, isn't really to just wallow in the creepiness, is it? It's more about trying to understand what maybe find some common threads.
Yeah, like what is it that people find genuinely disturbing? And also just seeing the sheer variety of, well, real-world scariness without getting bogged down in one single awful tale, maybe.
Right. It's almost a way to, explore those feelings, that anxiety about the unknown or the idea that something unsettling could just happen.
Totally. That feeling that things aren't quite right or that everyday life can suddenly get very, very weird.
And we should probably mention the source again, just briefly. Reddit's huge, obviously.
Right.
But this specific thread, it was marked serious. So the idea was for people to share genuine accounts, not just make stuff up.
Good point. And it's archived now, so
Yeah.
it's like a snapshot of what people shared back then.
Exactly. A fixed collection of unsettling experiences.
Okay, so let's get into some of them. One of the first ones that really grabbed me was this user who was walking in the woods off trail, and they smelled this really strong, sweet smell, overpowering.
Okay.
So being curious, right? They followed it, and they found a dead body.
Wow. Okay, that's intense. And the smell, the sweet smell, that detail is fascinating.
Right. The user said it was sort of like rotting lamb.
And apparently, others in the thread confirmed that decomposing bodies can have this sickly sweet smell, almost food-like, which is just
Horrifying. That clash, right? Something seemingly pleasant linked to decay.
it triggers something primal, I think. That evolutionary need to avoid disease, maybe. But the signals are crossed. It's a cognitive clash. Makes it really visceral.
Absolutely. And then you got to picture this person, right? They found the body, they're alone, deep in the woods, and they have to win for the police in the dark, alone with that.
Oh, man. The isolation adds a whole other layer.
Totally. And they mentioned having nightmares afterwards, like the deceased person being angry at them for being disturbed, even wanting them dead.
Which is likely, as they said, their mind processing the trauma.
Probably.
But it speaks volumes about the psychological impact, doesn't it? Encountering death like that, unexpectedly, alone. The feeling of maybe violating something.
Yeah, like crossing a line.
Compounded by the darkness, the solitude, it really makes you think about the mental toll.
Definitely.
Yep.
Okay, another type of story that seemed to come up a fair bit involved moments of sudden vulnerability. Usually when people were alone.
Right? Yeah.
There was this really chilling one about someone driving late at night, super tired.
We've all been there.
Yeah, exactly. So they pull over onto the side of this road, kind of hidden by bushes, just to grab some sleep.
Okay, I can already feel where this might be going.
Right. So first, just being alone on a dark, deserted road is kind of creepy anyway. But then it gets worse.
What happened?
They start hearing scratching sounds on the car.
Nope.
They catch a glimpse of something running away. And then this figure, a person, just starts sprinting towards the car, screaming at them to get out.
Whoa, okay, that's terrifying. From just tired driver to potential life or death situation in seconds.
Exactly, that sudden shift. And the lesson they shared was basically, don't sleep on the side of deserted roads. Hard-earned wisdom, I guess.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just shows how fast that sense of safety can just
Yeah,
evaporate, even in your car, which feels like a safe space.
that's a really good point. That connects to a lot of these, doesn't it? The unexpected violation of a place you thought was safe. Your car, even.
Your own home.
Yeah, exactly. That vulnerability seems key to why these stories hit so hard.
Definitely.
Speaking of home, there were quite a few about feeling unsafe right where you live. Like, one user woke up middle of the night and saw this big silhouette, faintly human-shaped, in their living room, just standing there, staring at them.
Our chills just No.
And get this, their cat was growling at it too.
See, the pet reaction always makes it worse. It's like confirmation.
Totally. It taps into that fundamental fear, right? Your home, your safe space, being invaded, and the vagueness of it, just a silhouette watching.
And you can't explain it away the next morning. It just leaves this residue of unease.
Right.
The cat growling just amplifies it. Because we kind of trust their instincts, don't we?
We do. Then there was another one about footsteps in an old house.
Classic creepy setting.
Right. This person was staying at their grandparents', kept hearing someone walking around upstairs at night. Clear footsteps, even coming down the stairs.
Okay, that's unnerving.
But what made it really creepy was, while this was happening, they heard the scratching sound on their grandpa's gun case.
Okay, that's specific detail. The scratching on the gun case, that elevates it, adds a really specific, unsettling layer.
Yeah. It's not just generic footsteps anymore, and the helplessness, hearing it, not knowing what it is.
And didn't the grandmother say something later?
Yeah. She mentioned offhand that a cousin had heard footsteps too, years before.
Oof. So it's not just you, it's like validated creepiness.
Exactly. It's almost worse, isn't it? Like, nope, you're not crazy. This house is just like that.
Precisely. It shifts it from maybe just your imagination to, like, this is a thing that happens here.
Yeah.
Much harder to dismiss.
Yeah. Okay, shifting gears a bit, there were also stories involving more direct, human threats, real people being scary.
Right, which can be just as, if not more, terrifying.
For sure. One person described being out for a midnight bike ride, had to use the sidewalk because of construction. And they encounter this scruffy-looking guy who suddenly just starts running at them, full tilt.
Whoa, just out of nowhere.
Yep, nothing provoked it, just sudden terrifying aggression, that unpredictability of people.
Yeah, that's deeply unsettling. How quickly a normal moment turns into feeling like you're in real danger. Reminds you to, keep your eyes open.
Definitely. And then there was that other one, truly awful, about someone who was almost abducted late at night, bad part of town. 5 men surrounded them.
Oh my God, 5.
Yeah, grabbed them. But then, pure chance, a neighbor came out to take out their trash, saw what was happening, and yelled, and the men ran off.
Wow. Saved by someone taking out the trash, that's incredibly lucky. But the sheer terror of that moment.
Can you even imagine that feeling of complete helplessness?
Yeah.
Overwhelmed.
It really hammers home that vulnerability again. How quickly things can go horribly wrong. Pure chance saving them. It really does. It makes you think. Yeah. And that feeling, that vulnerability, it just lingers after reading these, even the ones you can't explain. It's just there.
Okay, so there were also a couple that touched on things that felt more paranormal, maybe.
Okay, like what?
Well, one person remembered seeing something as a child in their bedroom.
Yeah.
A soldier, full color, but kinda not solid, just standing there.
Interesting. Not scary, though.
Apparently not. They said they felt calm. But then, years later, they had another similar experience, and also these recurring dreams of being on a battlefield.
Okay, that's complex. The lack of fear initially, the recurrence, the dreams, it feels less like a simple ghost story and more like something deeply personal.
Maybe. Yeah, like maybe connected to them somehow, or some kind of psychological thing. It wasn't just, boo, a ghost.
Right. It makes you think about how subjective these experiences can be. What one person experiences as terrifying, another might find meaningful almost.
True. Then there was someone who saw a green orb just hovering over their car.
A green orb, okay.
And the kicker, their sister saw it too, at the same time, which made them really question if they were just, hallucinating.
The shared experience. That changes things, doesn't it? If someone else sees the exact same weird thing.
Yeah. It blurs that line between what's in your head and what might actually be out there. Makes you question your own senses, maybe.
Definitely pushes those boundaries of perception versus reality.
Yeah.
That shared validation is powerful.
And we gotta mention the doll lamp.
Oh, the doll lamp. Yes.
A lamp shaped like a doll that apparently turned itself on and pointed right at the person.
Ugh. That's pure uncanny valley creepiness right there. An inanimate object seeming to act with intention, especially pointing. It's that feeling of being watched, targeted, viscerally unsettling.
Yeah, super creepy imagery. Okay, so we've gone through quite a few different kinds of stories here. Taking a step back, what are the main things that kind of jump out, the core themes?
Well, one big one is definitely the power of the unexpected. That sudden jolt from normal life into something scary or deeply weird. That seems to be what really affects people.
Right, the rug pull moment.
Exactly. And also the lingering impact. The fear, the unease, it doesn't just vanish when the event is over. it sticks around.
Yeah, like the nightmares.
And of course, it's also subjective, isn't it? What freaks one person out might just be weird to someone else.
True. And that feeling of being alone, isolated, or vulnerable when it happens, that seems to ramp up the fear in almost all these accounts.
Definitely. Being alone makes everything feel more intense, more threatening.
Also, those weird sensory details, like you mentioned, the sweet smell of the dead body.
Right, that contrast. Or just how mundane the setting often is. Driving home, walking down the street, being in your own bedroom, and then bam, terror.
That juxtaposition, yeah. It makes the scary part stand out even more because the setting is so normal.
So, thinking about all these different flavors of creepy, did any particular type resonate more with you? Or stick with you?
That's a good question. For me, I think it's the ones where reality itself feels a bit thin. Like the soldier figure or the shared sighting of the green orb.
Ah, yeah. The ones that hint at something beyond our usual understanding.
Exactly. They make you wonder about perception, about what else might be going on that we just don't see or understand. How about you?
I think.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's the ones that highlight how quickly ordinary situations can become dangerous.
Like the person sleeping in the car or the bike rider.
Yeah, those ones. They feel so grounded, so possible. They're like these stark reminders about vulnerability, about paying attention. They kind of stick in your gut a bit more, maybe.
Yeah, I get that. They feel cautionary.
Which leads to kind of a bigger question, maybe. Think about sharing these stories, like on Reddit. Does that help people process this stuff?
Or does it just freak everyone out collectively?
Right. Does it help us deal with unsettling experiences? Or does it end up amplifying our general anxiety about, the scary parts of life?
That's really interesting. I mean, sharing could be really cathartic, right? Especially if you felt alone when it happened. Getting it out there, maybe finding others with similar stories.
True. Makes it feel less isolating.
But then again, if you read thread after thread of creepy, disturbing things, yeah, you could definitely come away feeling like the world is just a way sketchier place than you thought.
Yeah, it could tip into just increasing anxiety. A balance, maybe?
Still, the fact that these threads are so popular
tells you something, doesn't it?
Yeah, it suggests we have this, I don't know, fundamental fascination with the unsettling, the unknown, the things that creep us out.
Seems like it. A deep curiosity about the edges, about things that don't quite fit. Maybe it's just part of being human. Wondered about the shadows.